Releasing new products in the automotive aftermarket can be as easy as following a recipe. Gather the ingredients, follow the steps, let it cook, and enjoy. The problem is, brand builders often make it too complicated. They scramble, they react, they shoot from the hip, they scrape together whatever they can and shove it out the door as fast as they can because they're late. Have you ever tried cooking like that? I have. It sucks. It's no fun making, and in many cases, it's no good eating it either. That's why we developed this product launch framework, a recipe, if you will, for how to launch products so that people actually know you released a product and want to buy it, and at the same time eliminating stress, confusion, and chaos that typically surrounds product launch processes. Now, there are 4 stages to launching products in this framework. They are discover, create, publish, and review. And in this first video, we will cover the first 2 stages of the product launch process, discover and create. And in the next video, we'll cover the final 2 stages of publish and review. So let's start with the discover phase. The discover phase is really concerned about discovering your customers' needs. Discovering if the market really needs and wants this product, and if they do, what does it need to look like? The discover phase will oftentimes precede even the product development process. Before engineering kicks off, the marketing team is going to discover the needs of the market and conduct a business analysis. What problems does this product need to solve? What the features does it need to have? What does it need to look like? Can the company make money on it? And so on. Think of this in the context of the 3 different types of product launches we talked about in the first video. There's brand launches, there's line launches, and application launches. And in the context of a brand launch, the discover phase will include things like your business plan. If you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, this is where you make the case for the business. You identify target market, you identify product gaps, you determine the ways you will reach this market, and so on. And in the context of a line launch, the discover phase will help you identify a benefits gap, in the market, a problem that exists that a product like the ones you already have could solve. Now, in the context of an application launch, the discover phase will include looking up VIO data or vehicles in operation data to give you an indication on how big the addressable market is, identifying similar vehicles you already have applications for, such as a previous model year, to determine the business impact this new application may have. Have you ever released a new product that was just a dud? Like, nobody wanted it, it didn't sell very well, and maybe you ended up obsoleting it a year later? Well, the discover phase is really there to help guide you to make sure that you develop the right products in the first place. Now, I'll be honest with you, many times marketing teams are not invited to this conversation. Someone else in the building is making the call that the market needs the product. And it's not based on data, it's not based on reason, it's based off of their gut feeling or their inspiration, or one customer said it would be cool if you had this product. And more often than not, those products end up on the slaughtering floor a couple of years later. Now, if you're the person in your company that makes these decisions on which products to develop, invite your marketing team. Make them accountable and responsible for contributing to the new product business case. Empower them to do the research and due diligence they need to successfully contribute. Now, the brand builder should be a part of the team, not siloed with this decision, but they need to be brought to the table so they can contribute what they have discovered about the market, the benefits your customers need from your products, and the price point at which the product needs to meet. If you don't trust your marketing person to do that and sit at this table, then get another marketing person. Larger organizations may have a dedicated product marketer or even product management sometimes, but smaller teams, it's your marketing person. Now, I would bet that most marketing departments aren't brought in to launch a new product until the tail end of the project, so they can start making all of the creative, because that's how many people view and even operate their marketing team. It's just a bunch of creatives. It's glorified arts and crafts. But that's not marketing. Marketing finds and keeps customers. So the discover phase of the product launch process is really designed to help you discover which products to develop, how you will sell them, and how much money your business will make from these products. Because let's be honest, your brand can do a lot of things, but you can't do everything. Every organization is constrained by resources, no matter how big or small. You can't do everything, so make sure you're doing the right things. And the discover phase helps you do that. It also helps you develop messaging, positioning, and pricing for the product. And the discover phase kicks off the beginning of the new product launch process, But sometimes the work of this phase is interspersed throughout the project. Sometimes your engineer will come up with 3 prototype designs, and you as the marketer will have to focus group the concepts, or conduct in-depth interviews, or get feedback from the market on the concepts. And this would all be included as part of the discover phase of the project. The second phase in the product launch process is create. The create phase is where you will create all of the assets you need to launch the product, to properly launch the product. This is where you'll create all the things that you eventually will send out. Your photos, your descriptions, your web page, your email, your press release, your videos, your ads, your updated application guide, your updated catalog, and so on. The goal of the create phase is this, to create everything you need and then sit on it. You want to create your assets with the intention of creating and doing nothing with them. Now, let me explain why this is helpful. What essentially you are doing is staging your assets so that when the time is right, everything's ready to go with simply the click of a button. And this is important because if you remember back to our first video, the conflict between product development and the marketing launch processes and the product ship date fluctuating like crazy. Sometimes you may need to initiate your launch sequence at the drop of a hat, like everything's ready to go. And if you wait until you're closer to the launch date, or wait to write that email until the day before you're going to send it, or put together that product page on the day you're going to publish, you're going to get caught off guard. You'll get delayed, and quite frankly, you'll run around like your head's cut off. But if you have everything lined up and ready to go, you'll be able to react and adapt much better. You're going to want to try and get as much of a gap between creating the assets and publishing the assets as possible. You want that buffer. You want to begin creating assets as soon as you're able to. Get them created, reviewed, approved, and staged. And hopefully allow a gap between when the assets are staged and when they need to be published. Now, the reality is oftentimes there won't be much of a gap. The timeline will be condensed, but don't wait on starting the work of creating the assets just because you think you still got a couple of weeks before you need to publish. You will hold up the launch. You will become the bottleneck in your company, and your competence will be challenged. So get to work creating all of your launch assets as soon as you're able to complete them. Start working on the aces and pies. Start populating the load sheets for your distributor. Start writing that press release. Start getting those product photos as soon as you have an approved part. Get that install video shot and that email written and designed, and get that landing page created, and get those social media posts ready to go, and get that one-page PDF exported. Get your online store products in draft mode. Get all of your assets created and ready to go so that when you need to enter the next phase, you're ready to go. We're going to talk about the next phase, the most exciting phase for a lot of people, and also the only phase many marketers live in, and that is the publish phase. So join me in the next video where we'll discuss the final 2 stages in the product launch process.